Hello everybody, hope you're all doing fantastically well. It is Connor here, and we are back here with 10 players that I would want Leeds United to sign this summer. Yes, everybody, it's a rebuild, it's a shake-up, it's a renovation, it's a regeneration plan. Think building stripped down and rebuilt with iron and steel and all this sort of stuff that you can apply to a football pitch as well, with a better structure, a better framework. So we're going to get into the 10 signings that I would make. Some of these are signings which are up in the air a little bit. I've been trying to go down my little action plan of loan players, my little action plan of Championship high flyers, and potentially dipping even into League One. Yeah, we're going to get into it, everybody. Make sure you get your comments in the section below. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let's get into it now. Okay, everybody, so first on my list is Carlos Borge. Now, Carlos Borge has been literally unbelievable for Manchester City's academy so far this season, and last season he's had 3 hat-tricks in 2022-23 and scored, including a 4-goal haul against Man United. Across all competition, he's got 18 goals and 11 assists in 18 appearances. Just an incredible return. He can play from the left wing. Borge is able to beat defenders with his quick feet and lightning first step. He's very, very direct. And I think the beauty of Carlos Borge is not only is he highly rated at City, but because of his tendencies to play out wide as well, he's able to put a lovely ball in. And he's going to be snapped up, in my opinion, by a side in the Championship or a side abroad this season to be their focal point. He's unbelievable. He's, working on the City side of things. You hear reports about certain players, and this guy is top draw. City have won absolutely everything once again in their youth setup. And for me, this would be the perfect move for Leeds United to once again go out and get that next product line of Man City players, get him in on loan. We're not talking James McAtee or Tommy Doyle. That product line has moved now, with Sheffield United and Ian Maatson at Chelsea, for example, who was on loan at Burnley, and all the other loan players they've got, Taylor Bellis. Players of that ilk are probably going to move to these clubs. So you've got to look at that next product line. And for me, he is an outstanding talent and someone who Leeds United as one of the bigger, if not biggest sides in the Championship, should be targeting. Number 2, everybody, is Shay Charles. Now, a lot of you won't know who this guy is. I've done a video on him before on this channel, and I actually have done bits on him for Man City as well. He's the under-21 captain for Man City, going there again for a lone player. He's exceptional. Northern Ireland player already at the age of 19. Versatile, but he's a defensive midfielder who's got everything. He's very, very good at breaking up play. Good on his left, good on his right. A communicator for his age as well. And if you're losing someone like Tyler Adams and you're able to bring someone like Shay Charles in on loan, that is an unbelievable bit of business. Even if you're having to pay a loan fee for Man City for the season, Pep loves him, absolutely loves him, but there's too many players ahead of Shay Charles at the minute. He was perfect, and I think he'd be available for a loan. That is your defensive midfield position sorted. It really is. And if you can get something like 30 million quid, which is apparently what Tyler Adams' release clause is, and get someone like Shay Charles, knows the league, plays a possession-based style football in the under-21s, which is something that you have to attribute to Carlos Borge as well. They are 2 fantastic signings, 2 really, really good signings. And talk about the previous, when you're looking at Carlos Borge, I know he drifts in on the left, but he can play centre forward as well. That potentially could be your staple point for Leeds United's season. But Shay Charles, I've had my eye on him for a while, and I've thought to myself, if Leeds were to go down, even if Leeds were to stay up and to lose someone like Tyler Adams, what a bit of business that would be. And it's another perfect loan. Guys, if we didn't want to go for Carlos Borge, which I think is an unbelievable shout, but if we didn't want to do that, what have we said with the action plan? We go down, we buy the best player in the Championship. Well, we do have that ability. Chuba Akpom is out of contract at Middlesbrough. He scored 28 goals, and he's been on fire. Borough didn't get promoted. Leeds are going to be coming down. Can they offer a little bit more? Chuba Akpom has no loyalties to Middlesbrough. Obviously, he's a southern lad as well, isn't he? So maybe he'll be looking to be in a better city, in a better environment. And listen, Middlesbrough have put themselves on the map once again, getting into the playoff semi-final and losing, but they were still there. They've got a very good manager in Michael Carrick as well. Likes to play possession-based football. But if Leeds are to get the right man in, we're going to get onto that in a future video. But if Leeds are to get the right man in, this guy would be an unbelievable signing. He's got everything in the locker. And you're arguably looking at him and thinking it may be a better signing than Yukoresh. Obviously, Yukoresh is going to be moving on. But yeah, for me, if you're looking at strikers, I'm a massive fan, don't get me wrong, of your Perot. But I think his physicality, I think how combative, I think how athletic Chuba Akpom is, and especially with him being out of contract. I know Borough are going to try keep a hold of him, but that will be a realistic acquisition for Leeds United and a proper bully boy tactic going down and a statement. Chuba Akpom is my next one on the list. So, if once again, I'm going to mention this again, if Carlos Borge doesn't get done, there is another one in the line, and it's another one who's proven himself again in the Championship and just looks explosive, looks terrifying. I'll be honest with you, he looks. I watched him against, I believe it was Norwich, when Borough just took them apart, and he was frightening, and he's Premier League level. A lot of people mentioned him on my videos. I've watched him for a long, long time now. Cameron Archer. Archer is a very, very, very decent striker. This one, once again, would be loan. There's been a lot of people who say we'll send Rodrigo the other way, which would be an unbelievable bit of business, but there's absolutely no way Villa go for that, obviously, because Villa are a properly run club. There's something that we would go for that, but Cameron Archer is one of their hot prospects. If he continues to do it in the Championship, then who knows? However, they are going for European football. They'll be trying to get striker after striker after striker, and they're going to have to help Ollie Watkins out up there, so you expect them to go for a top striker. There is Unai Emery, there is Rodrigo, they've worked together at Valencia. If we could somehow do that deal as a part exchange, that would be incredible. Obviously, the interest seems to be building from Emery's Villa for Rodrigo, but you'd be expecting a cut price. They hold the A card there. The ace card, I should say. Rodrigo's going to want to move on. Villa can low cut Leeds when it comes to the price. Rodrigo's age isn't going to work for him, so I don't think we'd be able to do a part exchange at all for Cameron Archer. But if you go in there asking for a loan again, we'd have to mitigate, I think, between someone like Borge and Cameron Archer. But Archer's done it in the division as well. He's one of the better players, so yeah, unbelievable player for that level. And if you're able to get Archer and Akpom, well, isn't it a statement and a bully boy tactic to Middlesbrough and the rest of the Championship? So either or for me, Borge or Cameron Archer, but Chuba Akpom's a definite. But yeah, for me, this if we are to acquire some of these loan players, we've mentioned Shay Charles, we've mentioned obviously Borge, we've mentioned Archer, Akpom as a permanent signing, Borge, potential there, but Archer is a proven player in this division, and you've seen him and Akpom work very, very nicely together. So that'd be my next suggestion. Everybody, I've seen a lot of people mention Dean Henderson. I think that's a decent shout for a goalkeeper. Leeds need a new goalkeeper. Am I convinced Robles is going to be number one? He should be number one. I'm not. Am I convinced Dylan Melia, even in the Championship, should be number one? I'm not. So, yeah, Dean Henderson, a lot of people have suggested him. I think the dominoes are flowing a little bit because David De Gea is about to be offered a contract at Manchester United. That will impact Dean Henderson again in wanting to leave. And I think Keylor Navas is going to move on at the end of the season. For Nottingham Forest, they're going to sign Henderson permanently, in my opinion, which opens the door for Leeds United to go somewhere else. For me, it will be Sam Johnston. Sam Johnston would be an unbelievable acquisition at this level. He was superb for West Bromwich Albion. He came with an assurance, an ego, an arrogance, a cockiness to Leeds United when he was in net for Crystal Palace, and he was coming in for Gaeta, and Sam Johnston barely played all season. He came in and was unbelievable in that first half when Leeds should have been more than one in front. And we know what this guy's pedigree is about. He's been in the England squad before. He is a promotion and Championship winning goalkeeper who saves you point, is assured, and I think between the sticks that should be our number one priority. Simple, effective, number two in the Premier League, would want to play for a club like Leeds United, in my opinion. We want to be a number one starter with guarantees and assurances. We want to be on a decent wage, probably a Premier League wage, which Leeds will be able to afford to pay him, with parachute payments, which can be transitioned into a wage structure alongside as I say, an assurance that we'll be back in the Premier League next season, or he can move on. For me, it's got to be Sam Johnston in net next season. Shout out to my man Joe Rawlings for this one, and I'd actually spoken about this guy to a couple of other people as well, obviously with my Norwich circuit, which is there, as you guys know from previous videos. But Omar Bamadeli is someone who I would go for. Andrew Omar Bamadeli. Say that when you're drunk, if you try, if you dare, I should say. A young Norwich City centre back who just looks brilliant. I thought at the latter end, the latter end of last season in the Premier League, when he came in, Norwich looked way more assured at the back under Dean Smith. I thought he was really, really good. And when him and Ida went out again, I thought that's when they laxed a little bit, they lapsed in concentration. And he's had another good season in the Championship, building up a little bit of a reputation now. Obviously, you've got Ben Cabango down there for Swansea, who's young and is playing well, but I think Omobamidele's got a little bit more about him in terms of playing out from the back. I think that once again will be a bully boy tactic, going down there, taking a player of Norwich's, a young upcoming prospect, for a decent amount of money. It'd be an intelligent signing. Andrew Omobamidele would be my centre-back choice. I think it would be a really shrewd acquisition. Well, guys, we have come to the left back. So we've gone centre back so far. We've gone goalkeeper. We've gone winger / striker. We've got another striker and then another striker. You've got 3 striking options there, 1 on a permanent. I think now you move into left back territory, which hasn't been addressed for Leeds United properly in about 12 years. So, yeah, for me, this one, an out-of-contract Ryan Manning. Leeds have already been linked with him. I think that would be a really, really good signing. He's been very good, very, very good this season. And I think, Swansea City will do well to keep hold of him. The other outstanding left-back in the division has been Ryan Giles, another Ryan. Obviously plays Wolverhampton Wanderers, Middlesbrough on loan. And I think... Yeah, he's going to cost money, obviously, if you want to buy him on a permanent. But Manning, out of contract, would be a good signing. And then maybe if Leeds have Leo Yelder back, who appears to have been playing left-back and centre-back for Rotherham. He's been playing really well in the Championship. Maybe he could be a second option and a sturdy option as well with now Championship experience. So, yeah, I don't think we're going to get 2 players for every position, to be honest with you. And I think Yelder's proven it a little bit for Rotherham in the Championship. He's been a solid acquisition for them. So maybe Yelder comes in and you get a Ryan Manning in there as well, who's going to be your number 1 week in, week out. If Leeds can get a secondary option, Josh Wilson-Esbrand, who's a Man City product. As you guys know, I'm City'd up. He was good. He's played for Coventry a little bit this season as well. Maybe he could come in as well. But I don't think you're going to get Josh Wilson-Esbrand wanting to come in and wanting to be on the bench. So for me, it'd be Ryan Manning and probably Leo Yelder as your left back too. But once again, you are looking there at a centre-back by trade, but I think Yelder's build suits a little bit more of a left-back, and yeah, we'll have to wait and see how that one transpires. But for me, Ryan Manning would be a really good acquisition. So everyone, we're going to move in central midfield now, and I actually think Leeds have got a really good base here. If we can get Archie Gray fit, if we can get Darko JB playing week in, week out, I think that's a really, there's a lot of people talking about Alex Scott, a couple of young products in the academy, but Alex Scott was lined up with Darko JB against, I believe it was Uruguay for the under-20s not long ago. So listen, Darko JB, if we can keep hold of him, I think it'd be a really good acquisition, a really good addition, I should say, to the Championship. You've got to put maybe a little bit of experience with those two as well, which is key. But I mean, if you've got Shay Charles in there as well, you've got 3 youngsters there who are top products, really, really good products, and you've got some options there as well when it comes to youth. The Championship, I think a lot of people talk about experience in the Championship, and I understand why they talk about experience, and they talk about, you need an experience to get out of that division. And whilst that is right, I do think a lot of the Championship is ran by kids who, then move on to the Premier League a lot. I always remember in the days of, Michael Elise and Eberiche Eze, they were just head and shoulders above any other midfielder in the division, and they were only kids at that time. Alex Scott this season. So, yeah, I think that there's a real good base there. There is a real good base. But for me, you look at some of the outstanding products in this division, in the Championship, you look at players who've been excellent, good in big games as well, semi-final, scoring goals, final, scoring goals of the playoff, superb throughout the season, getting assists, 10 this season, getting goals, a fair few as well. It's Gustavo Hamer. Absolutely top draw when it comes to Gyökeres and Hamer this season. If you can go to Coventry, not a financially rich side, and you can once again say to them, look, this is the price we'll offer you. You have got an absolute tenacious midfielder there someone who is a harrier, someone who will produce when it comes to the offensive outlet as well. You know, you watch him a lot this season and his energy levels are through the roof. He'd have been perfect for a Bielsa side, perfect. So for me, when you're getting we've never had, even in the Bielsa era, maybe click a little bit, but we've never had midfielders who've got goals, midfielders who've scored and produced all the time. Maybe you throw Pablo in there as well, but I see Pablo as more of a forward, to be honest, when he played for us. But a proper midfielder like Gustavo Hamer, you've got a real good base there, a real good base. And, you know, if you're keeping around some of the players that we've got this season, you know, if you've got like a Greenwood in around there, I don't know, as sort of like a reserve option, it's a youthful side, but I think that really gets about in the Championship, and it's got a lot of quality when you look at it. You know, Darko, JB, Shay Charles, Archie Gray, and someone like Gustavo Hamer. I think you've got a good balance there, a good little blend, and it'd be interesting to see how it would work. And then you're preparing for the future with those players as well. Guys, there's 2 wild cards. Now, we know Joel Perreault, and I've mentioned him at the start, and now I'd prefer Chuba Akpom, even though there's sort of different, you know, obviously Perreault can play out wide a little bit more than Chuba Akpom, even though Akpom's done it in his career, but I think he's a proper solidified striker now. If Leeds as a wild card can either go out and put money down for someone like Perreault, or they can put money down for someone like Amad Diallo, who's been unbelievable for Sunderland this year. Once again, you're putting an absolute statement out. Absolute statement. With the money that we've got when we're going down, with the player sales that we're going to make, listen, these are acquisitions that Leeds United can at least test the waters with. So maybe you can look at these 2 as well as wild cards. You know, if you're throwing your hat in there, maybe one. I doubt you're going to be able to get both, but yeah, if another signing doesn't come off, maybe you look at these. But guys, that's going to be my signing edition. I hope you've enjoyed it. There's an absolute plethora of names there for you guys to go at. Please recommend some in the comment section below as well. If you want to go on the European sphere and recommend some there, that would be really helpful. Really appreciate your support all the time as well, guys. Going to be getting more videos out to you in the summer. But yeah, cheers, guys. Have a good one. Speak to you soon.